Alright, so here we go. We're going to make the train. So this part, what we're going to start with is we're going to start with just the train body, just because it comes up the first. So here we have two different views. We have one that deals mostly the back view, and then one that deals with all the other dimensions on there. So what we want to do is open up Inventor. I already have my project selected. So you can see here I have my projects done. I'm going to create a new standard part, and I'm going to create a 2D sketch. Now for me it's easiest to actually draw this in one big block, so I'm going to kind of draw this whole overall overlying shape and then extrude that back, make these cuts through here. So I'm going to start by, like I said, making this overall block. And to start with that, you want to start by looking on the back side here. Okay? So you can see that this radius gives us the arch for the top. Okay, there, the top cab part gives us that circle half arch radius, like I said. And you can see that it points down to this hole. So this hole for the hitch and or just the hitch and the magnet shares the same radius as the overall arch. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just going to start by drawing the back side. So here, all I need to do is, I can go back and look, it was 2 inches wide. Okay, so I'm just going to type in 2, and I'm just going to make a line up. 2 lines up. So what those lines represent right there are these lines coming back up right through here. So I don't necessarily need to dimension those, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my extend button later on in a second. So I'm going to create a point, and this point needs to be centered or 1 inch in. So I'm going to dimension that. So here, 1 inch. Okay, and then from the bottom to the top needs to be 0.375. Yep. So that's read from this dimension right here, 0.375. And hit OK. And next I want to do my radius, which is 0.235 or 2.35. And I'm actually going to do a center point arch. So here it says select center. If you look down the lower left hand corner, select the center. That's going to be the center point that I created, and I'm just going to draw that arch right there. From here, then what I can do is I can extend this up to that line there, those 2 lines, and then trim off the rest of my arch. Okay, so I have that. I should be able to mention this. Okay, and I forgot to do that. 2.35. Okay, so there I have my overall arch, or the back side I should say. Now I can go ahead and I can extrude that to 5.5 inches overall length right there. Okay, so I'm going to finish my 2D sketch, and I'm going to extrude it 5.5. Okay, so now I have that overall block. Now what I'm going to do is create a sketch on the front and make this cut to kind of get the barrel or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I go from there, and I can start, if I see I have a center point here, I'm just going to start working off of that. Okay, so I have a center point. I know that it's 1.375 or 1 3/8 inches up. So I'm going to center that and dimension it so that it's 1.375 inches. Okay, so that gives me that center point right there. Next dimension is I can make this radius. Okay, so I can do the same thing. Start with the center point arch. I know that this is going to be, this is going to be my center point, and I'm just going to draw almost a complete arch. Okay, don't forget to dimension it, and the radius there was 0.75, so 0.75. Okay, now what I want to do is I have these lines coming across here, and that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line here and a line there, come back here, and let's let's see, it's supposed to be how high? 0.875. So I'm going to dimension that from that line down to the bottom, 0.875, and same thing with this line here, 0.875. Right, and it shouldn't say how long these lines are because we just have our arch or our radius 3/4 of an inch and where those two lines intersect. So I'm just going to trim that all up and go from there. So I'm going to use my trim button. Okay, here, that one, as well as that one. Okay, and just so I can lock this in, that's supposed to be an inch. Now my sketch is fully constrained. So from there, I can finish my 2D sketch, and if I see, I have this overall is 1 inch and 7 or 1 3/4. So that's the length of from this edge to this edge. So it doesn't give me the length from here to here, so I could either subtract that or I'm just going to do an extrude, select my profile, I want that back. So it already adjusted to a cut. If it's not making a cut, again, you have these options here. You can either terminate or whatnot. But, so I want to cut, and I can either type in whatever that dimension would be from here to here, or I already have the 5.5, and I'm just going to minus 1.75, treat it like a math problem, and there I have my overall shape. Okay. Then to continue with getting the overall shape, I can worry about these holes in a second. I'm going to take and place a sketch on this view. Create a 2D sketch there. Again, I'm just going to start with my center point. Okay, and I'm just going to place that. It's 1 3/4 up, and it is also 1/4 inch in. Okay, so I know that I have from here to here, 0.25, 1/4 inch, and I believe I said 1.75. Yep, so 1.75 radius. Again, center point arch. So you're selecting center point starting at the center. So select the center of your arch. I want that here. I'm just going to make that. Come back and dimension it. The radius of 0.5. Okay, so that's 0.5 from there. And all I'm going to do is start, I have my line selected. I want from the center point, and notice how right here you're going to see it show up, but you have the tangent symbol show up, and I want to make sure that this line is perpendicular. You can see that constraint showing up right here, so kind of that upside down T, that it's the line that I'm making right now and this vertical one of the edge, so these two lines are perpendicular and this one is tangent. Okay, so I want to make sure that is happening on both the top and the bottom, and go from there. And then I can trim that up, trim up my arch. Okay. So I have that, and I believe that's all I have on that view. So I'm going to finish my 2D sketch and extrude that, make a cut, and for this time I'm just going to say through all. So that's just going to go through everything right there. Now I have that. Now what I can do is I can start doing these front points where the cow catcher itself is going to attach to. And that looks kind of thick. 0.875. Okay. I guess that's right. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure I'm in the sketch. Click my points, and I want to try to get off of any constraints. And I'm just going to place those there. So if we notice, if I zoom in here, it's saying that the center point of these holes are 1/8 inch or 0.125 from the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension that. From there, 125. Here, 125. And this hole height wise is 5/8 of an inch. So from here to here is 0.625. I believe that's right. Yep, 0.625. And centered, this hole is centered, so it's 1 inch in, and this hole itself is 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so I have 3/8 of an inch from the left side. I could either dimension it from here for the center, width-wise, for this hole from this top edge. I'll just do that because that's how the dimensions say it. But it's basically the same inch. It's going to be same thing on this side. So 1.625. Yep, 625. Okay, and we don't need to worry about the diameter or anything like that, because when we're working in Inventor, anytime we have a hole, we're going to use the actual hole tool. And this is 1 inch in, so that's 1 inch. Finish my sketch, and my hole. Notice how it's selected up or picked up those 3 center points. So you may have to actually click those. The diameter it's saying is 1/8 of an inch, so 0.125 at a depth of 1/8 inch as well. Okay. So what I want to do, if I can find it, is select distance. Okay, so that pull down menu right there, and that's going to be the same, 0.125. Okay, there's my 3 holes. Now I can work on the holes for here. Create a 2D sketch, and same thing. I create a point, and I'm just going to go from there. Dimension 1/2 inch, 0.5. There, 0.5 up, and this one is in an inch, and this is 4.5. So dimension is still in. It's an inch. Here to here, 4.5. Okay. Finish my sketch. I have a hole. And that was a diameter of 1/4 inch. Okay. I'll show you this thread. Oh. Okay. Hole. Yep. So I have my 2 depth of 0.875, so 0.875. Oh, that was diameter. Sorry. So depth is 1/4. 0.25. Okay. And this was 0.875. I can put my thread this face, and we already have it selected. 1/4 inch. Apply. Same thing for that face. Apply. And I believe I had everything dimensioned out. Holes were the right depth and everything. Yep. Okay, so then I just have to go on this side, create a 2D sketch, place those points, and 1/2 inch up. What was it? Inch and 4.5. So inch from the side. And 4.5 inches from the back, so 4.5. Okay, finish my 2D sketch, and from here I'm going to use my hole again. Okay, so 1/4 inch, and it was 0.875. I have both of them selected. Hit OK. I'm going to hit thread, that face. Hit OK. Oops. And hit apply for that. Okay, so there I have everything all set. Now I just need to end up doing that smokestack. Let's see, all holes are drilled with point angles. Okay. Alright, so there should be also a note that says the rounder. Oh,